Well, hello. It's been a bit. I'm going to start a new series. And if you're watching this and you know what one of 52 means, then you know. If you don't know, be happy to share that with you in a conversation. Anyways, let's dive in. I really am excited to cover a bit of ground here. And to start off with, I want to lead with, have you ever noticed that you can experience the exact same situation on two different days and have a completely different feeling or an outcome or a behavior or an action that follows that exact same situation? I think the most common one would be, that's relatable by most, would be traffic, right? One day traffic can feel, even at the same time, same time of day, could be heavy traffic, could be rush hour, right? One day it could feel peaceful and easy and manageable. You got the music playing or a podcast or an audiobook, or maybe it's pure silence. Maybe it's conversation with yourself. The coffee's good. Your diet soda or soda, your favorite bubbly, is just, everything is just fine, feels completely normal, feels at peace, feels calm. Then another day, same traffic, same amount of cars, same amount of bumper to bumper wherever you live, same road, same destination, same coffee, same bubbly, same whatever you have that that your drink of choice while you drive. Suddenly the feeling is the world is out to get you. Maybe the world is creating friction. The world is happening to you. These vehicles are moving more slowly, more difficultly. Every light seems longer and more challenging and more difficult and frustrating and irritating, and people are driving worse on that day. Really, nothing's changed outside of you. What has changed is your thinking. What has changed is what you thought about that traffic, maybe even the coffee. Maybe you even made the coffee both days, taking a barista out of the picture. You made the coffee both days. And today, for whatever reason, this day that everything feels like it's grinding and more painful, the coffee seems hotter, more bitter, more whatever, but it's the same bean, same consistency, same everything. It's your thinking that creates your reality. So that's the heart of what I'm going to talk about today. The truth is, you do not experience your circumstances. You'll hear me say over and over again, you don't experience people, places, things, situations, circumstances. You experience your thinking about it. Nothing else. Hard stop, period. The end. You don't experience the traffic. You don't experience the coffee. You experience your thoughts about all of these things, your judgments, your expectations, your rules, your wants, your desires, how things should be. Your experience is via thought. We are born with the gift of thought. We are conditioned and programmed, and things that happen to us shifts it to outside in. We have this illusion, this conditioning, this programming, this hypnosis that all things outside of us make us feel happy or sad. And thus we feel hopeless. We feel out of control. We feel lost. We feel frustrated. We feel miserable. When we experience life outside in, it creates misery. It creates pain. It creates suffering. Every single brand new client that I speak to, a potential client, is outside in. They believe that people, places, things, and situations and circumstances are making them feel miserable. They're blaming, they're complaining, they're finger pointing. They feel at the mercy of life. They believe life is happening to them, not for them. They're focused in on what's miserable, what's awful, what's painful, what's not going their way, how things should be different. Their language represents the thoughts that they're having, the judgments, the expectations, the wants, the desires, the pain, the agony, and the suffering. Well, guess what? Your brain loves the negative. Our brains are negative bias. Our brains are going to hone in and focus in on what's not going well naturally. And if we do not train our brains to work for us, our brains will protect us, serve us, and focus in on the negative. Why? Because it wants to serve us, it wants to protect us. So it only cares about survival. Our brain does not care if you're sexy, if you're hot, you're in love, you're successful, if you're rich, if you have a large following on social media. It doesn't care about any of those things. It cares about your safety. Your thoughts about your life is what creates your experience, right? We are born with the gift of thought. And the very last thing that determines if you are alive is if you're thinking, if you're brain dead, if you're conscious. Most people think, listen to my words, most people think their feelings come from outside of them, outside in. It's not true. It's not possible. If you give traffic the power to make you feel sad or happy, you're at the mercy of traffic. You're no longer in an ownership of your reality or your experience in life. You're no longer responsible for how you respond to life. You're now at the mercy of traffic. I am stressed out because of work. I am stressed out because of my boss. I hear this so frequently. It's not your work. It's not your boss that's stressing you out. Stress is a very large umbrella word, just like anxiety, for thoughts. Your thoughts about work are heavy. So if you feel stressed, it's because you are thinking and believing stressful thoughts. If you're believing that your boss or your work is stressing you out, you are having stressful thoughts. That's it. You're not consciously aware of it. It's non-consciously happening, and that's okay. That's human. That's normal. If you are on autopilot, and motorboating through life, you're naturally going to be negative bias. You're naturally going to see the misery at work. You're naturally going to see the things in your boss that you don't like, the things that you wish they would do differently, they should do differently. Your work and your boss are not stressing you out. Your thoughts about it are. We can only think positive or negative. We can't think both. And our brain loves negative bias. It is negative bias. It loves looking for the negative. And if you stay focused in on what's not working in your life, your brain will go out and look for evidence and proof and continue to reinforce, my work is stressing me out. My boss is stressing me out. And you're going to go home and you're going to commiserate. You're going to ask your friends, your family, people that are around you to validate you. You're right. Your boss is a jerk. You're right. Your work is stressful. Look, you have free will and agency in this world, in this life. You don't have to stay there. But what I do know to be true is if you think and believe that your boss or your work is stressing you out, you're going to go from job to job to job to job to job to job. Every 1 to 2 years, switch jobs. Or maybe not switch jobs, but be miserable about year 1 or 2 when the new wears off. Just like relationships. If you believe that someone that you're in a relationship with stresses you out, same thing. It's your thoughts about it. It's your thoughts about that person. It's your thoughts about that relationship. It's your thoughts and your judgments and your expectations, your wants and desires for things to be different that are stressing you out. That's outside in. It's not where your feelings come from. Your feelings are like a power plant. Your feelings are internal. Your feelings are what you feed. It's what you focus in on. So if you start focusing in on what you want more of in your life, what you appreciate, what you admire, it edges out all the negative. And what you focus on grows. What you focus on improves. What you focus on compounds. So if you focus in on what's going well, what's going right, what's amazing, what am I grateful for? What am I appreciative of? What are my skills? What are my strengths? What do I want to learn? What are the things that I want to understand? What are the things that I want to see and experience in this life, near and far? You're training your brain to work for you. You're working from inside out. If you live in a world that someone's words hurt your feelings, and the parallel or the if you believe that someone's words can make you happy, they can make you sad. I'll word it that way. So if you believe that someone's words can hurt you, that means your self-confidence is low. You are living in an insecure mind. Your thoughts are insecure, because the reality is if you are self-confident and you are secure in yourself, someone can say, I hate your purple hair. And you could go, you know what? You could be right. That makes sense. That's your opinion. Thanks for sharing that with me. Thanks for your feedback. I will take that into consideration. You won't be shooken. You won't be shaken. You won't be taken off your A game. People's words do not have the power to make you happy or sad unless you give them that power. If you give them the remote, the control over your emotions, and you think and you believe that someone's words can impact you, can make you feel happy or sad, you're no longer living out inside out, you're living outside in. And no wonder why you feel hopeless. No wonder why you feel at the mercy of other people. No wonder why you're needy and grabby and seeking validation externally. Sometimes people come to me and they're like, hey, I want to feel validated. I want to feel respected. Do those things for yourself. Because that's attainable. That's sustainable. So when it's attainable, it's something that you can offer yourself right now. Sustainability means that you can fuel those thoughts, those feelings forever. We can't control other people. We can't make people respect us. We can't make people say nice things to us and validate us. Every feeling is valid because every feeling is a source of your own thoughts before that feeling. Same goes with everybody else. If you're in a partnership with someone, in a relationship, doesn't matter, work, friendship, intimate, family, any dynamic, someone says, you know what you said may hurt my feelings. Their thinking created that feeling. So that's valid. Seek to understand the validity of their feeling. I'm really sorry if I hurt your feelings. Please help me understand what you heard. Seek to understand other people's thoughts and feelings. Oftentimes clients, brand new clients that I start working with will tell me whenever they get told that, oh, you hurt my feelings, they double down and get defensive and provide excuses and reasons and justifications for why they said what they did, and usually point their finger and blame more. That's destructive for relationships. We're defensive. The first act of defense is the first act of war. There's no need to defend yourself. Their feelings are valid. Everyone's feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. Everyone else's feelings are valid. Everyone is working off of their own thoughts. Oftentimes there's patterns and loops. So the real cause of all feelings, yours or anyone else's, is thoughts about the people, places, things, situations, and circumstances. So your mind, and when I say mind can be many different things. It could be ego, it could be saboteurs, it could be the voices in your heads, it could be your inner child. There's so many different labels out there. It could be ego. But your mind is a projector. Okay, mind is your automatic thoughts. Okay, your mind is not going to show you reality. Okay, we're taking in 11 bits of information. There's 11 bits of information around us at every second. Okay, our brain can only handle 40. So 40. I don't know if I have that backwards. Your brain only takes in 40 bits of information per second. So our brain filters out most of what's real or what's true or what's out there, whatever's happening in the world. Right? So it's like we're looking through a pinhole of what is really very big and broad and vast. Okay, so our brain, our mind, our thoughts, our ego, whatever you want to call it, shows us only a very condensed, filtered version of reality. So we process everything through our own thoughts, our own expectations, our own rules, our own wants, desires, how things should be, how we want things to be, our own desires. And our brain and our mind repeat things over and over and over again. Our patterns, our cycles, our thoughts, our beliefs are all repetitive. Why? To conserve energy. And again, we can only process a small amount of information at a time. So we're all walking projections. So the relationship you have to this body, this being, this person, this meat sack, if some people call it that, is walking along on this journey we call life, this body, this relationship we have to this body, if you're at war with this body, you hate it, you talk badly to it, you're shameful of it, you're embarrassed by it, you're beat yourself up mentally, emotionally, physically, when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you have a terrible relationship to this body, it's you're not taking care of it, you're not setting it up for success on a daily, weekly, monthly basis by feeding it properly, staying hydrated, moving it properly, sleeping. If we are not taking care of our body, and our relationship to self is poor, and the relationship to this life, this experience that we are all experiencing from our own reality, from our own perception, from our own thoughts, when we have a poor relationship with this life, that might look like hating on life, thinking that, oh, I'm not lucky, I wasn't gifted, I had a bad childhood, I have such bad experiences, I have all these traumas, I have all these things, and I just wasn't dealt a good deck of cards, I'm not smart, I'm not pretty, I'm not privileged. If we have this terrible relationship to our body and this life, we walk around really projecting out all of that externally on other people. So when we have a healthy relationship to our body and our life, we walk around bitter, resentful, angry, and judgmental, critical, righteous, pick your flavor. But when we have a healthy relationship to this body, right, we treat it well, we take very good care of it, we honor it, we feed it, we hydrate it, we do everything we can to set it up for success, good night's sleep, all the things. And we love this life. We're grateful for this life. We're appreciative for this experience. We are continually wanting to grow and understand our mental, our emotional, and physical health. We're wanting to improve ourselves in ways that keeps leveling up, compounding on one another. When we have a healthy relationship to our body and our life, we have the bandwidth and depth and warmth and compassion and empathy to have a healthy relationship to other people. But when we're hating on ourselves and we're hating on life, that projects outward. And what I will tell you is when we have a negative relationship to ourselves and life, we don't see opportunities. In fact, we repel and reject and quite honestly live in misery, live in isolation. People that are usually have a poor relationship to their body and life are living in isolation more and more and more. mainly because they say no to things, or they avoid things, or they hide. But also people smell it. It's like BO. When you have a terrible relationship to your body and your life, it is like a BO. People see it, smell it, they can hear it in your words, in your language. People that have a terrible relationship to their body and life are blaming and complaining constantly, commiserating, going on social media and jumping on this victimhood, like, poor me, look at all the things that are happening to me. My life is so terrible. And then they get a flood. Like, these posts are the ones that typically get 40 and 50 comments and likes, and everything will work out, it's okay, or me too. Believe me, if you're looking for a job and you're posting that stuff out on social media, they're seeing it. So there's that. But it's also in your language. Like an interview, you're going to say things that cue in someone with a high emotional intelligence that this person bitches, moans, and complains and blames and is highly judgmental and critical. You're not going to get the job. So opportunities, stop. Okay. Not only that, you're not going to take action forward to see opportunities, but those people that have a healthy relationship to their body and their life, and they're in deep gratitude and have a daily practice to understand and see and create more gratitude and appreciation and admiration and inspiration, all the good words, right? When we have a practice and build that muscle and build that skill and train our brain to look for those things in our daily life, we're going to see opportunity. We're going to repel people out of our life that are no longer the same emotional intelligence. And that could be family. That could be friends that you've had for decades. And that's okay. But what you will do is you'll make space and energy and time for people that are of a higher emotional intelligence. It's a beautiful thing. When we resist that, letting people fade that are no longer, that are blaming and complaining and bitching and moaning and so forth, when we allow that natural pruning, that natural transition to happen, kind of like the leaves when right now they're changing color. When we let the leaves change color and fall off, that's just, it's nature, it's natural. But what we do is we open up opportunity for new growth. When we have a healthy relationship to our body in this life, we're creative. We're in our creative right brain. We're in the side of our brain that sees opportunity, creates opportunity. We become a self-leader. We create opportunities for ourselves and others. We can see our own strengths and our own skills, things that we see what meaning was meaningful and purposeful in our life, and we pursue those things. We double down on those things that we're really strong at, those things that we want to teach, those things that we want to model, those things that we want to offer to others, teach, educate, serve, coach. So our mind and our thoughts are powerful, and also our words, our language, what we say out loud. Just like I'm in coaching sessions, I am very in tune with what my clients say. So I really listen to their word phrases and patterns and the things that they say on repeat, because the things they say on repeat is like hypnosis, and they believe it, right? When we repeat things, it really concretes in a belief. So if we are continually saying, I don't believe in myself, I'm not good enough, well, guess what? You're going to get more of that. Your brain is going to find evidence and proof that you are not good enough, that you are a failure, that you are less than. But if you train your brain to look for those things that you're really strong at, you're amazing at, you're powerful at, your things that you admire in yourself, the things that you appreciate in yourself, it doesn't matter how old you are. I work with clients from age 16 to almost 70. What ends up happening is when you train your brain to look at those things in yourself, you will also see strengths and things you admire and skills and talents in other people. But if you're focused in on the negative, you will see that the negative in everybody. It's simple and it's easy if you think it's easy. Two separate people can live the exact same event. So two people can be in a concentration camp and one can be happy and the other one can be miserable. How is that possible? Right? How that's possible is, again, it goes back to what we're thinking and believing. If you're thinking and believing that you're happy, you will feel happy. If you're thinking and believing that you're miserable, you will feel miserable. Whenever something, whenever a client is going through a divorce or some sort of hardship or grief, losing a pet or a parent, grief is definitely something that's individual. But what I do know to be true is that I've been a coach now for 8 years now, almost 8 years. And I've been a part of clients going through incredible tragedies. And when we have trained our brain to work for us rather than against us, grief becomes, because it will happen to all of us. We're all going to lose people. We're all going to experience some sort of health diagnosis, whether that be to us or someone we care about. And what I know to be true is that when we have a healthy relationship to our body and our life and our thoughts, and we've trained our mind to work for us rather than against us, when disasters happen, when things happen, when we get bad news and bad events happen, we are resilient when we've trained our brain to look at what we can learn and how we can solution focus, and when we can look at what we can learn from these events, what we appreciate, what we admire. For the grief piece, if it's a pet or a family member or someone we care about, it's really doubling down on what we learn from that person or that animal or that thing, right? Whatever it is we're grieving, whatever we're losing, we can focus in on. We have the strength and the neural pathways in our brain to focus in on what it is we admire, appreciate, adore, and have great gratitude for the time that we had with that person or animal or thing. We're able to move forward in a powerful way. We're able to navigate these moments that are going to happen in our life in a powerful way. We're not stuck in the grief. We're not stuck in the pain, the agony. So when we're responding to the world, when we have leveled up and we increase our emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, to me, in a nutshell, and this is a very condensed version, emotional intelligence is being able to self-regulate. That's step one. Step two is being able to understand someone else's emotions, their come from, what they're thinking and believing. That is the most condensed version I can give you. And what I do believe is when we have high emotional intelligence, when we can regulate ourselves, when we can sense when we're going below neutral in our feelings and go, whoa, something's happening here. I feel less than neutral. What am I thinking right now? What am I believing? And how do I want to feel to move the needle up, at least to neutral? When we are able to self-regulate through tragedies and events and disasters and grief, when we're able to self-regulate and move to a higher feeling on our own without the world changing, without controlling anything, without dictating anything, without being righteous and white knuckling through anything, when we're able to move our emotions up to at least neutral, that's powerful. When we're able to seek to understand someone else's emotions, the high or the low, asking curious questions like a 7-year-old, what and how questions, what's going on? Can you share with me what you're thinking right now? What's going on? What's happening? What are your thoughts right now? When you're able to really hold space for someone with zero judgment, with just pure wild curiosity of a 7-year-old, and see what thoughts are fueling how they think in that moment, high or low again, that is emotional intelligence. Because again, we are every feeling that we have is fueled by thought in the moment. And our thoughts happen so powerfully fast. If you're not consciously aware and you're on autopilot, you're in row 32 on the airplane and just sitting back right in front of the bathroom where the seats don't tilt back and you're just kind of going through life on autopilot, yeah, you're miserable. Life feels heavy. Life feels like it's happening to you. I understand that. That makes sense because that's your thinking, and your thinking fuels your feelings, and your feelings dictate the actions and choices and decisions you make every second of every day. But when you exit row 32 and you go up to the pilot seat and you take over the yoke and you take over how you want to feel in that moment, how you want to feel moving through whatever you're going through in life, you're now taking responsibility and ownership for how you want to feel and how you want to experience things. And this is empowering. This is resilience. This is what's going to get you from wherever you are right now through to a whole new level. You're now responding to the world. You're now responding to whatever unfolds. You're no longer wanting to bend reality and make life be a certain way. You're no longer wanting to dictate the story of the world. You have acceptance and you've made peace for however things will unfold. So reality is subjective to each person's thoughts. We subjectively experience life through each individual's perception, and there's 8 billion perceptions out there. So when you seek to understand someone how they feel and what they're experiencing, it's always going to be different than your experience. And that's fascinating. And when you look at that from a fascinated, curious mindset, that person is going to feel as though you've heard them thoroughly because you're asking them questions. That person is going to feel important. That person is going to feel seen. When we defend and say someone's wrong and they're not right and we're blaming them and so forth like that, we're shutting down, we're putting walls up, we're really not on the same team. We're fighting against something that's really not even there. But when you are emotionally intelligent, again, self-regulating, shifting your energy, what you're thinking, what you're feeling live in the moment to how you want to feel from maybe here's some examples. Maybe you want to feel calm. Maybe you want to feel patient. Maybe you want to feel understanding. Maybe you want to feel warm and kind and compassionate and empathetic. Maybe that's how you want to feel. Well, if you think that way, if you believe those words, it's not about affirmations and chants because that stuff doesn't work. But if you come up with words in the moment and those are your words and you feel what those words mean to you, that other person is going to sense an amount of trust to be able to share with you because you're asking, I sense that you're feeling upset right now and I want to hear what's coming up for you. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Because I care. I feel as though it's important to me to understand what's going on. So it's actually less is more, right? So even if you flip it, and if I said that to you in a heartfelt, warm manner, you would feel open to share, most likely, right? Versus your feelings are hurting my feelings. Instantly, people get defensive. Why do you feel that way? Why do you always have to be overthinking and overanalyzing? Right? If you know, if we've worked together, the word why is a dirty word. We don't use the word why. Instantly, people are defensive by using that word. So I want to go back to the driving. So if you really think about it, if traffic feels chaotic, if it feels like chaos, what are your thoughts that are creating that chaos feeling in your body? If traffic feels painful, awful, dreadful, what are your thoughts? What is feeding that? If on another day it feels peaceful, what is the reason for that? Traffic isn't changing. It's your state of mind. It's the thoughts that you're thinking and believing in that moment that creates your experience. Another example that I feel is coming up more and more in coaching and also forums that I'm in is if you feel like you're being ignored or ghosted is quite the more common term. If you're feeling ghosted by someone, what is it that has you or someone else feeling mad one day about it, and another day you just assume, they're busy. They got a lot on their plate. It makes sense why they haven't responded. It all comes back to your interpretation of what that silence means, right? Your friend or whoever it is that is ghosting you or not messaging you back. And sometimes it's in business, right? Sometimes it's in business. Me too, right? I have people that reach out to me and say, oh, I want coaching. And they'll write this big, long bio about their life and all the pain and suffering they're having. And then I reach out to them over and over again, and I don't hear back from them. Like, what is that about? Right. I work with a lot of insurance agents because of my background as well. And so I hear that people feel rejected at some point, right? It's inevitable. Anybody in sales, whether you're a car salesman or insurance or coaching, if you're ever offering services outward and then they ghost you, it's normal, it's human, it's natural to some days feel like you're being rejected or ghosted. The thing is that's your interpretation, right? We don't know what's going on for them. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and then I don't hear anything from them for months. And then they reach back out to me and excited and eager and ready. So what was that about, right? And I'll get all kinds of reasons, and that's okay. I won't go into that right here, but it's our own interpretation. And if we feel rejected, well, that's on us. That's something to work on. If you're feeling triggered, that's a you problem. That's something for you to work on, because that's your own interpretation of the quiet or the ghosting or the non-responsive or leaving you unread, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been in a grocery store line and I flip open my phone and for whatever reason, my finger touches text, right? And I'll hit somebody's text and now it's left on red, right? But I don't have time to respond. Like I want to respond in a kindful, warm, compassionate way, and I'm not able to. So if I don't intentionally mark it as unread in that moment where the hustle and bustle, I might forget about that text, right? So I'm human too. So think about all the ways that maybe we don't respond to a text and maybe they're reasoning too. So if our interpretation is someone's ghosting us, someone's ignoring us or rejecting us, it's all your story. It's all your thoughts. It's all thought-based. Kind of back to the job, or your boss. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with, or even relationships, jobs and relationships where people jump from job to job to job and relationship to relationship to relationship. And there's a commonality, right? 4 jobs later or 4 relationships later. I've even had clients have 4 or 5 divorces and they're like, you know what? All my exes said the same thing about me. So I'm the common denominator. So it must be me. And same with bosses, if you go from job to job to job and you have a different boss, obviously, different name, different shoes, different outfit, maybe a different gender, maybe, a lot of different variables. But if you're constantly thinking that you're being micromanaged at every single job, is it true? Now, I'm not condoning, toxic bosses. Is there such a thing? Perhaps. But what I know to be true is whatever's triggering you is something for you to work on. There's something there that needs looked at deeper. And that's where coaching is very powerful. But the same job, the same type of partners, the same house, the same community, the same drive to work can feel different depending on the lens in which you're looking through, which is another way of saying your thoughts, whatever you're thinking in that day. So if you're not setting yourself up for success and you're exhausted, you're tired, you have a new puppy, like I do, you might be a little sleep deprived. So everything does feel a little bit heavier, right? Because you're thinking, man, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. But that's how the system works. The brain filters out billions of bits of information and data every single second. Your brain is going to highlight and focus in on what matches or is in alignment with what you're thinking and believing. So if you're thinking and believing in karma, right? If you believe in karma, your brain is going to look for evidence and proof of that. Is karma real? I don't know. Right? I don't know. I don't believe that. Well, I believe if you think and believe that and you have enough evidence and proof of that and it serves you in a way that's healthy and beneficial, go ahead, believe in karma. But to me, I feel like karma, whenever it's used in context of someone's life, it's usually in a negative way, whether it be their own life or other people's lives. It's usually, they get what they deserve. So I'm not quite on board with that. But your brain is going to highlight and focus in on and look for evidence and proof of what matches whatever your thoughts and your beliefs are, whether that be conscious, meaning the ones you hear, or non-conscious. So non-conscious is like the music at Walmart, right? There's music playing at Walmart, but do you hear it? Do you know it's playing? Or are you on autopilot and just motorboating through life? The more conscious, more aware of what thoughts and beliefs are driving your behaviors and your actions and what you experience on a day, every day. When you're more aware of what's driving your behaviors, your actions, your habits, the more empowered you feel, the more opportunity and choice you will have in your life, the more you can dictate and tip things to the better, the more you can train your brain to work for you rather than against you. Okay, so your thoughts, what you're thinking, what you're believing before, during, and after anything you experience today or any day is kind of like a filter. It's like glasses. So if your glasses, the lens is red, you're going to see red. Everything is going to be a tint of red. If you're believing, if the lenses that you're looking through life, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you're believing are the world is painful, awful, people are terrible, people are toxic or narcissistic, such an overused word, both of those, then you're going to find that. You're going to see that. You're going to find evidence and proof of that. So it's really learning to clean your lens, clean up what you're thinking and you're believing, and how you're understanding your reality. It's being able to self-regulate. It's being able to know where your feelings come from and create more of what you want moment to moment. So when you really realize it, and I'm not talking about a realization that's logical and nod your head, yeah, Katherine, that makes sense. That makes sense. No, I'm talking about real, true reality. When you see in your own life how your thoughts create your feelings, and that dictates what you do or you don't do on a daily basis. And you come to me with proof and evidence that, hey, today I experienced that very thing in real life. This is what happened. This is how it played out. And it was so cool to see it, to experience it. Because the old version of me, whether that be a week ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, would have thought and believed something different. And the outcome would have been completely different. But because I'm thinking, I'm consciously aware in the moment, I'm self-regulating. And in the moment, I thought, how do I want to feel? I want to feel confident. I want to feel brave. I want to feel courageous. I want to feel empowered. I want to feel strong. So you go forward feeling those feelings, because when you feel those feelings all pervasively in your body, like they have a jolting energy, vibe, spirit, whatever you want to call it, in your body, you now have something to focus in on. Your lens, your map, your compass is now pointed to being confident. It's being patient. It's being brave. It's being courageous. So what am I thinking and believing to have those feelings? And you just go forward, you take action. The outcome is going to be totally different versus being insecure, mad, angry, resentful, and bitter. The outcome is going to be wildly different. So when you realize your thoughts paint the picture, your thoughts create every single moment, you stop blaming people. You stop complaining. You stop bitching and moaning. You stop commiserating. You stop going to social media and looking for people to validate you. Those people that are validating the blamers and complainers are not helping you. They're actually reinforcing that type of thinking. It's also very important to understand what you can and cannot control. Okay, you can't control your thoughts. You can't control the world. You can't control your partner. You can't control your boss. You can't control all these external things. Make peace and accept that life is going to unfold as it may. You can train your brain to work for you. You can command your brain to work for you. You can choose. You can see you have free will and agency in your life. So if you tell me, I heard this last week, I can't leave this job. I'm stuck in this job. No, you're not. It's what I wanted to say. I did not say that. No, you're not. You have free agency and free will in this life. This is your life. If you want to quit this job and become a hippie or be a monk or be an astronaut, do it. You have choice. Now I have people that have told me that same thing. And they're like, oh, you don't understand. I have all these bills. I have all these obligations. I have a big house. I have all these responsibilities. Unravel those responsibilities. Typically, to change your life so dramatically, meaning to go from being heavily weighed by debt to debt-free, is not going to be an overnight thing. It takes time to unravel and unhook from all those obligations. When you see that you do have free will and free agency about your life, it gives you a sense of not control, but it gives you a sense of what you can do with your life. And if you understand that your thoughts are not real, your feelings are a result of your thoughts, that's powerful. Why? Because I often meet a lot of people brand new to coaching that are operating from, well, I didn't do that because I didn't want to. I didn't feel like doing it. I didn't go to the gym, or I didn't apply for that job, or I didn't apply for that job because I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I have enough skill. I don't have enough talent. But guess what? You're closing so many doors without even giving it a shot. Like for me, when I was hiring back when I had an insurance agency, I knew that I couldn't train attitude. I can teach insurance. I can teach that. I can't teach attitude. So somebody would come to me in an interview, would express in some way, fashion, or form that they were looking for a career. They were looking for something to sustain them, something they wanted to learn, that they find interesting, find fascinating, and they wanted it to be their future. They wanted to be a part of the culture, the dynamic. And they were eager and they were excited and they were hungry, compared to somebody that came in that had umpteen number of years of insurance background and were bitter and resentful and angry. And because it shows up in language, it shows up in body language too. A huge difference. But when you understand, when you navigate your life and your world from how you want to feel versus what naturally comes up, right? Oh, I don't feel like eating healthy today. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like taking a nap. I don't feel like going to bed. I'm going to fight and resist my body's natural need to go to sleep. Well, you're not operating. You're operating from autopilot. You're back in row 32. Okay, so when you operate from how you want to feel, when you dictate what it is that you want from your life and you're in alignment, everything changes. Everything looks different. Everything feels different. Will those thoughts come up still? Yes, absolutely. I still to this day will have thoughts of like, oh, I don't really feel like getting on my stationary bike. But guess what? I do it anyways. Why? Because I know at the end of the day, I'll be proud of myself for doing it. Why? Because I deeply appreciate having a healthy, strong body. I love having strength and flexibility and endurance and being able to go on a random hike with friends without being winded. I love the ability that my body has. I can say yes to so many more things. I can experience more things in my life as a result of being physically fit. So the more you see how your mood and your decisions and your choices are all to do with what thoughts you fuel and the thoughts that you feed and how you feel, the more your life will shift towards your goals. And the more you'll be more suspect to, I'm going to do this because it feels good in the moment. Maybe the microwave effect, right? It's quick, it's easy. I just feel like laying on the couch, right? You'll be more suspect to your own words, the language that you use. You'll start to notice like, oh yeah, you know what? Sitting on the couch does feel like it would feel really good right now. And as a result of that, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go do 10 minutes on the bike. I'm going to go do 10 minutes. And typically what happens whenever I think that and do that, I don't do 10 minutes. I usually do 30 or 40. Because the hardest part is getting started. Right? It's just getting into action. But what I do know too is that when we lead our life from how we want to feel, when we lead our life from being in alignment with what feels purposeful and meaningful and important and the things that we value, you're going to make healthier decisions. If we lead our life from making choices from what feels good in the moment or rebellious, or we move away from the discomfort, oftentimes that's a pattern. And it's usually not short-lived. It's usually because the brain loves what feels good and what feels familiar. So if you're wanting to ride a bike every day, it's making it feel good and familiar. So feeling good is having good thoughts about it, right? So when you look at that bike, what thoughts am I having? If naturally and instinctually a thought about the bike is, oh, that looks painful, that I don't have time for that. Likely those thoughts are happening elsewhere in your world too, not just in the bike. It's usually happening in other parts of your life. So be aware of that. These are patterns. So when you look at the bike and you go, oh, that looks painful, that looks terrible, I don't want to do that, I don't have time for that, those thoughts are probably never, ever going to go away. They will get quieter with practice. What I know to be true is whenever I have those thoughts, if I look at the bike and have those thoughts, is like, yep, I hear you. Today is a day that I'm going to get on the bike because I'm inspired to get on the bike. Because I know when I get on this bike, even if it's 10 minutes, I will be proud of myself. I know if I get on here for 10 minutes, I will have a boost of energy following riding the bike and a mental clarity that I absolutely love. In that boost of mental clarity, I usually get a lot of creative ideas and get a lot of excitement. Whenever I get on the bike, it resets my body because I know it burns off cortisol, but I know what that feels like. And it feels so good. It feels amazing and incredible. And even when I'm thinking this, like right now, I'm like, I want to go get my bike shoes on and I want to jump on the bike, even though I've already done it for today. But just notice how your thoughts either drive you to go to the couch or they drive you to get on the bike. Notice what thoughts light your heart on fire and what thoughts drive you to being lazy. You're experiencing your thoughts all day long, whether you realize it or not. And that's what I really teach my clients, is to have more awareness of your thoughts. You don't have to believe every thought. First step is being aware of your thoughts. Most people are not aware of their thoughts. Again, they're on row 32 of the plane. They're not aware. They're motorboating through life in misery. But when you are aware of your thoughts, you'll hear them. Not all of them are going to serve you, but you can shift your thoughts and your beliefs to empower you to get on that bike or to eat healthy or to make phone calls at your job or face traffic in blasting your music and having a good time versus being miserable. But inner freedom doesn't come from the world changing. It's not, you can't change it. You can't force people to change. You can't force your boss to change. You can't bend reality. But what you can do is you can change what thoughts you connect to, attach to, thoughts you believe, thoughts that you fuel. You can change your inner world. You can change your inner dialogue one thought at a time. But it's being aware of those thoughts. So when you feel triggered and say, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Because again, why, right? Why is creates a little bit of defensiveness internally too, not just with other people, but internally. But whenever you have a thought of why are they doing this or why is this happening to me, notice that. Pause. And a lot of my new clients will tell me they literally will excuse themselves and go to the bathroom, or they'll go outside, or they'll just take a tiny little break. And then they'll pause and kind of reflect on, well, what is it that I'm thinking and believing that's creating this thought without saying it right out loud? Like, what am I believing right now? What am I thinking? What am I believing? What's creating this resistance and why this is happening? What is the thought? And if you can't figure it out, that's okay. That's what coaching is for. And sometimes it's a little elusive, and that's okay. But that's what I'm really good at, helping you figure out. And what I also point my clients to is the calm, the peace, the whatever it is that you want in your life, the happiness, the joy, isn't going to come from the world quieting down, because the world's not going to quiet down. If you haven't noticed, it's getting louder and louder and louder and faster and faster and faster and busier and busier and busier if you allow it to. It comes from slowing your mind down. Usually every brand new client that I meet, or potential new client, I get on a consult call with someone, they're so sped up. They're talking about 50 different things, and it's just like like a machine gun. It's just so much. But what I know is when we feel calmer, when we feel more at peace, when we feel more grounded and balanced, whatever words that are synonymous with all of those, it's really learning to slow our brain down. It's learning to be able to access a quieter mind one day at a time. It takes a little bit of turning the volume down on our thoughts and the speed. Now, I know that the world has us going the opposite direction. That is a choice. That is a choice. And a lot of things that can create a lot of that sped upness can be what it is that you're consuming and the people that you're around. Right? So if you're watching a lot of TikToks, or you're doing things that are, your attention span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter, it's going to speed up your thought process. It's going to speed up your brain. Not hating on TikTok, because I like TikTok, or any of those social medias at a certain level. So not hating on that stuff, because really social media doesn't make us feel mad or sad or happy or glad. Again, it goes back to your thoughts, what you're thinking and believing about it, how you're using it, right? So my algorithm is vastly different than anybody else's algorithm that I've ever seen, which is fascinating and understandable. So it's really one of the things I want to point to is challenge yourself. Okay, so challenging yourself would be being aware, being consciously aware for one day. Maybe that's today, maybe that's tomorrow, but for one day, notice every time you or someone else says, or you think, they made me feel. Just have an awareness. of they made me feel. And simply replace, after you hear that in your thoughts, or you hear it out loud in your voice, or if you hear someone you love and appreciate and admire, adore in your life, and they say, they made me feel, whenever there's an open window to say something, say, what thought did you have that made you feel that way? Or if it's yourself, what thought am I having that made me feel that way? Okay, so it's a small tweak going from they made me feel to what thought am I having in this moment that's making me feel? It's a small pivot. And just be curious, really, really curious, be really gentle with yourself, be very, gentle, kind, gracious, because what ends up happening is if we get down on ourselves and self-punish ourselves, it actually makes it worse, to be honest with you. So it's really about how can I gently be aware and gently, with curiosity, see what thoughts are fueling my feelings in this moment and reflect on it. Maybe even message me. Let me know what comes up for you. If you see something, and if you don't see something, that's okay too. Message me and say, hey, give me the context, give me what happened and how that statement came up in your thoughts or your words. They made me feel, and I can help you navigate that. And what's interesting is you can change how you feel about anything without it changing, okay, or them or people, places, things, or situation. But it's really learning to where your feelings come from. It's really learning it in real life, in real time, seeing it play out in your own life. When you really experience thought in your own life, in your own real time, that will help you lead your life from emotional freedom. It takes seeing it in your own life. It takes experiencing it in your own life. Because when you stop arguing with other people, when you stop arguing with life and you stop arguing with yourself, you naturally become more peaceful, more kind, more empathetic. Life no longer feels like a battleground. No longer does your relationship to others feel like a tug of war. Okay, so when you really take ownership and responsibility for how you want to feel and you understand where your feelings come from, life becomes easier. Now, a lot of my clients that go, well, how come nobody teaches this? Well, it's consumerism, period. We aren't taught this. We are taught that Santa Claus is going to make us happy. We're taught that blankets and teddy bears are going to make us happy. We are taught this from age 0, that our feelings are external. Mommy's going to make us happy. Don't upset dad. The things that you say might hurt your sister's feelings. We're taught that over and over and over and over again. Why? Consumerism. Because you will buy the house to make yourself happy or your family happy. You will get a pool to make your family happy. You will get a nicer car to look cool and make other people happy or admire you. Okay. We buy the shoes, the clothes, the houses, the books, the programs, the courses. We buy things to make us happy. We go on vacation to make ourselves happy, to get a break from life. We buy. It's consumerism. If you look at advertisement, true quality advertisement, somewhere, somehow, it's giving the perception that you will be happy when you have this. Like a hamburger advertisement on a billboard, it's a sexy, beautiful girl holding this hamburger that never looks like what you get through the drive-through. And I can say I haven't driven through a drive-through in decades. Actually, probably not 2 decades. I would say definitely one, probably 1.5. But anyways, the advertisements, I love advertisements because I love what they say. I love that they give you this perception, or even quite literally will tell you, you will be happy when you get this, or some language like that. We buy timeshares. I have met people that have 3 and 4 timeshares because they believe by having those, they will be happy or whatever. I love working with my clients and helping them create a life that they don't need a vacation from. I love working with people, individuals, or even groups to help them create a life that they don't need an alarm for. They don't hit the snooze button every morning 6, 8, 10 times. Have I lived a life of both those things? Yes, I used to live a life where I needed a vacation. I had to have a vacation. I used to live a life that I hit the snooze button. I resisted going to bed. I resisted my natural body's alarm clock to go to bed. I used to do all of those things. No more. I live a life. I've created a life that I love. And you can have that too. So when you start seeing how you can create a life that you appreciate, admire, adore, and you lead by example, so no matter whatever the dynamic it is in your household, when you lead by example and you inspire people, they will come along with you. We're not changing people because we can't change people. No fixing people, okay? So next time something feels triggering or overwhelming, pause and remember the person, place, thing, situation, or circumstance is not attacking you. This is a thought. How do I want to feel? What do I want to think? What do I want to believe? What do I want? How do I want to navigate this in a powerful way that at the end of the day, I'm proud of myself? Because you can't fix people, places, things, situations, or circumstances. Notice day by day, moment to moment, how your mind is creating your reality. This is the secret door that nobody talks about. Because when you understand your thoughts and how it's a pattern and a cycle in your life and how it's created misery or happiness, when you understand it at a deeper level, your life will become so much easier. Life will feel lighter, freer, and you don't need the world to change. You don't need anyone to change. Okay, guys, kind of rambled a lot more than I thought I would. Anyways, if you know, you know, this is chapter 1. Anyways, I thank you guys for viewing this. Any comments, message me if you have questions, message me if you want to share something. I'm here for you. All right, I'll see you guys in chapter 2.